Thank you. Deputy Speaker, I rise to speak on the motion brought by the member for Hawke. I do not support the motion brought by the member for Hawke, but I do commend him for having the courage to bring to this place's attention the dismal record of his government to date on the economy. Deputy Speaker, as the Prime Minister has recently reminded us, it has now been 10 months since the Albanese government came to power, and in the lead-up to the election in May last year, Labor made many promises. The Prime Minister recently said that Australia has had, and I quote, a very good 10 months. Deputy Speaker, I am yet to meet any Australian who has said to me that the last 10 months has been good 10 months. And I also note that despite us asking the Prime Minister these questions, the Prime Minister and indeed his whole team has been unable to find one single Australian who has come forward to say that they have had a very good 10 months. And to that end, Deputy Speaker, in the last 10 months we've seen 9 consecutive interest rate rises under this government, a rate of rises that we have not seen in 30 years. The cash rate now sits at 3.6%. Inflation has reached levels not seen since 1990, and as at the end of December, the inflation rate was sitting at 7.8%. Power prices have continued to rise under this government, not fall. We've had increased taxes, and charities are now reporting seeing people on double incomes asking for help to put food on the table. People are being forced to take on a second job to pay the bills. People working a second job, this is then eating, of course, into their family time and into their recreation time. A record number of Australians are turning to Lifeline, and this has been recently reported by Lifeline. The average Australian mortgage holder is now paying close to $2,000 per month for that mortgage. They're paying an extra $20,000 per year. In my electorate of Hughes, Deputy Speaker, over 30% of the electorate are mortgage holders, and on average they are now spending more than $1,700 a month on their mortgage. $1,700 a month more than they were before this government came to power. So I am yet to hear of any Australian, and particularly nobody from my electorate has said to me that they have had a good 10 months. If we look at some of the promises that were made by Labor leading up to the election, both the Prime Minister and the Treasurer made many, many promises. Promise to cut our electricity bills by $275. That promise has been broken. Promise of cheaper mortgages. That promise has been broken. The promises of no changes to super. That promise has been broken. The promises of lower inflation, again, a broken promise. The promise that we're not touching your franking credits, promise broken. And franking credits are important, Deputy Speaker. Franking credits were first brought in by a Labor government, and at the time Paul Keating said, "This is a double tax and I'm relieving Australians of this burden." And now that is again being reversed. We also had the promise that there will be no industry-wide bargaining. That's not part of our policy, we were told. It is part of the policy, and now after 10 months it is time that the Labor government stopped rewarding union mates and instead focused on the real issues in the economy. We look first of all at electricity, Deputy Speaker. On 97 separate occasions before the election, the Prime Minister said electricity prices would decrease by $275 under a government that he would lead. The opposite has occurred. Electricity prices continue to increase, and in my home state of New South Wales, we are now $564 a year on average worse off than we were under the former coalition government. This has had a massive increase on a massive impact on the more than 280,000 small businesses. And just this week, Deputy Speaker, I was speaking on the weekend to one of my local cafes, and he's now paying $50,000 a year electricity. This is unsustainable, Deputy Speaker. Thank you.
I thank the member for Hughes.